the Reddit. This is the SC Reddit Open Tournament number 7, and I am Harlequin, and with me is Atomica, and we are watching Game 4 between Yulath and, yes, thank you, Crazy Pyro, for reminding me to turn off my busy. You are turned off. Anyhow,
turn on
we are moving into Game 4 with Hybrid being up 2 and Yulath being up 1. So, moving right along. Atomica, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. There's now popcorn in my teeth if you have been tracking my popcorn eating habits over the course of this tournament. And Harlequin has beef jerky. So this is looking to be a fantastic tournament.
Nice. And we have Yulath complaining about his drones. Now, Yulath, again, is opting for this 11, this extractor trick build. I've never been convinced that that's a more economically effective build.
I'm pretty sure it's been proven that it's not more effective than just not doing it.
Uh-oh. In fact, he doesn't even have an Overlord building yet. This could be a big mistake on his part, or he could be going for the never-before-seen, a 10 pool. All right. He could be getting kind of rushy on this map. But, again, I don't know why he would do that, because he hasn't scouted yet. You got to always ask yourself the question, I'm rushing. Why am I rushing? What am I rushing? This is kind of a strange build. He's going for double extractor trick once again to get at 12 out of 10. But this is an interesting build. It's good for a little bit of a rush, but I don't think over these distances it's going to do anything at all.
That is correct. They have spawned at the diagonals, so a 10 pull will not be the most effective build by far. He'll have to find it first, that's for sure.
Although, now that I'm actually taking a look at HybridFrog's base, I see that he's going Forge first. This could be really good against him as an opening, but no, he has walled him in completely, which would explain why he is going for Forge first. We're going to see a Photon Cannon behind that, and all of his hopes and dreams about having an early Zergling push are going to be smushed into the ground like so many stomped on
HybridFrog says sup. This is really, really bad. Oh man, here comes the 6 Zerglings. Will it last in time?
So he's got a little bit of a window here where you can maybe get out. In fact, the fact that he got a 10 pool like that might be exactly what it takes to chomp his way through there. And HybridFrog a little surprised by the quickness of those lings. And I don't think he's going to get it up in time. This is going to do it. I mean, he's going to lose a lot once he finally surrounds that cannon. But no, go back to the cannon, you crazy maniac. Oh well, looks like he's going to go for it. That's probably the right call. We'll see if he can.
Yeah, that's the right call. Because he has, HybridFrog is trying to desperately wall in his base before the 10 pull arrives there.
Single cannon going up, and I think that is a tight wall-in, but yes, that is a tight wall-in.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that cannon's going to get up. But he did have to spend an extra $300 on pylons out of nowhere.
This is true. Pro tip, guys, if you haven't done this already, you should go into your options and turn on the build grid. Because unless you have this magical sense of what is and what isn't buildable, the build grid will actually show you a grid around the buildings that you're making, and you can build extremely, extremely tight walls with it.
So HybridFrog going straight into double gas, no sense of an expansion just yet, but he's going to have to start coming up with something to do here because, I don't know. He could be in just the position he needs. There's not a lot that... Well, Yulath losing his queen almost. Jeez. That was
that could have been bad. Yeah,
ambitious.
Down to 8 health.
Double gas, so it looks like he's probably getting himself set up for mutas. If I didn't know any better, he should be upgrading his hatchery right about now. Yep, boom, and going for mutas.
Yeah, most definitely. I think HybridFrog has inadvertently just absolutely boxed himself in, and unless he destroys one of those pylons, he is going to be stuck in his base, which is not a position you want to be in, especially against a Zerg player who can just rapidly out-expand you.
Yep. Cybercore going up, finally getting this Expo up as well. Dangerous position if Yulath can't come up with anything to do against it. I mean, he can't do anything with these Zerglings. They're just kind of here to keep an eye out on stuff. But for the most part, he's going to have to go mutas and try and see if you can punch a hole in there at all. What would be really fun would be a Nidus Worm Roach kind of attempt, because the entire backside of his base is kind of leftmost peninsula is wide open for scouting, but unfortunately he didn't send out any of his initial overlords, and I really hate it when I don't see players take advantage of that, because if he had sent his very first overlord all the way over, or even his second or third one, it would have been there by now, hanging out in open space and could provide him with a little bit more sight. And I'm an idiot because he has already done that, and it's way back in the middle of his base. So that is still totally a possibility for him. I should always check the mini-map before I go into a long paragraph explaining something.
So yeah, let's talk about the wall right now. There is a photon cannon sitting behind this kind of chopped together wall of photon cannon, gateway, and forge. So I guess the strategies to get around this would be Muta, obviously. A Baneling bust would be extremely, extremely powerful against this. He would lose potentially 3 pylons. Alternatively, and this would obviously be the fanciest way, a Nidus Worm. Something we haven't seen in this tournament yet.
Yeah, I'd love to see some more Nidus Worm play, but at the same time, it would do my heart wonders to see some good Muta play. You can see he's got his priorities straight. His expansion comes up, and he just gets 2 gas right away, and then starts worrying about the minerals, because frankly, he knows he's going to be gas capped. Spire's going up nicely, and if he plays his cards right, he should have about enough for about 5 or 6 Mutas right off the bat if he waits up a little bit here. Looks like he's actually spent a little bit more minerals than he wanted to.
Yeah, he just now hit 500, so he should have enough for... If he wants to blow that much, he's actually only building 6, so very good timing on his behalf.
That's, in my experience with 1 base, 5 is about as fast as you can get him, and with 2 base, if you get a little bit of gas, you can get 6, 7, 8, depending on the timing of that. So, he's right on par for that, and the back of his base is going to be the target there. You'll see that HybridFrog is already getting a pylon up behind his mineral line, but he's a little slow, so if his timing is good, he could get there right as the photon cannon is constructing, if that is in fact what it's there for.
Right, those mutas are out, and they are already halfway across the map. That photon cannon, is that even down yet? No. Even if he'd put it down, it would not spawn in time. So we're just going to see some really, really heavy probe harass on the mineral line, unless these stalkers can somehow box him off.
These stalkers are definitely on the ball. Losing a couple of mutas, boy. Most people who go mutas sort of refuse to resupply their mutas. I mean, most good players decide that they're going to build so many mutas, be that 10 or 12 or 15 mutas, and then just kind of switch tech. And so they kind of eventually stop replacing their losses. So whenever you can pick them off, it's always a good thing just to kind of keep them there. Because, like I said, usually it's mutas into something else that then wins the game. But trying to win with mutas versus a Protoss player, especially with stalkers or blinking stalkers, is really hard, nay, impossible.
Absolutely. Now kind of flying around and maybe seeing if he can pick off any pylons, or that would be actually very devastating if he could. Ooh, this is looking good.
Yeah, I see you're probably noticing those double Stargates as well. Hopefully he's going to go into some Phoenix play. That would be a lot of fun. I can't think of any. I can't imagine going for Void Rays at this point. So Phoenixes with a bunch of Stalkers would instantly end that. But then the question is, of course, where is he planning on going for now? Where is Yulath planning on going after this? I mean, still really no creep extending going on whatsoever. He's just been producing and producing and producing. And I kind of hate seeing that, especially when he's already tier 2 and he has all of these overlords standing around. But then again, Muta Micro tends to sap your attention away from your base completely.
Right, I feel like he's focusing too much on the Muta Micro and just simply putting too much money in it. And with this combination of Stalkers and Phoenixes that's coming up right now, HybridFrog will just simply be able to outpower him. So we'll definitely... Yeah, I totally stole the insight of somebody who was speccing, so... No, it is not copyright, Fear Gorm. I'm sorry. You're reft, so you can't see it, but Fear Gorm is talking about all this good insight. If I wanted to completely steal Fear Gorm's insight, I'd say that Yulath needs to go Nidus Worm and expand more, which is very, very true. Maybe Fear Gorm should be doing this and not me.
Yeah, Nidus Worm is really what I was rooting for early game. Like, Muta is tempting, but you know that the guy already has a Cyber Core up, and you know he's got Photon Cannon. He has the potential to just completely shut you down. So Nidus Swarm is a lot more interesting because you can do it very sneakily, and you can just suddenly go in there and destroy a lot of infrastructure. You know, a whole bunch of roaches in a base can very easily take out a nexus or a whole bunch of workers, or do some lasting damage. Whereas these mutas, they're doing damage, but in a different way. They're simply skewing his army towards different compositions, and that's useful. And like, this is the vector he needs to attack on. I'm glad to see him do it again. Look at how much damage that does. So many probes being killed right
Yulath
now.
has really reached that critical mass where he can just walk in and simply clean up a huge amount of smaller units using those glaive bounces.
I mean, that was basically, just to take a quick look at his base, that was almost every single probe in his base, as well as a handful of Phoenix. He's super, like you said, critical mass, and really doing the damage now. I'm surprised that HybridFrog hasn't come back now at this point, because he's kind of suiciding to do this.
Right, HybridFrog instead is not even trying to defend and moving all those stalkers up to... Yeah, we're actually seeing a base race right now.
And I don't think he has what it takes to do a base race at this point.
Yeah, Yulath was definitely prepared by sitting all these Zerglings back to deal with these stalkers and simply pulling the mutas back. Yeah, HybridFrog is not looking like he's in a good position, having to be on the run now.
Yeah, that was the wrong gamble. I mean, he happened not to have his stalkers in his base, so rather than bring them back, he said, "Oh, I think I'll exchange," and it just didn't work out for him at all. He really, he had things going very well when he had a couple of stalkers in the back of his base and then a roving squad of Phoenix. He could really kind of keep that under control. But the fact that he let him do so much infrastructure damage and then lost his army, he's just 0 for 2 now in terms of exchanges. Lost econ, lost a base, lost production, and lost an army. That's going to be game over for him. Pretty much all Yulath has to do is just keep making units at the regular rate and not even divert one small amount from his current strategy, and he should have this.
Funny you should say that, because he's actually throwing down an investor pit right now, along with just getting some flyer upgrades, and actually trying to saturate his high yield.
Yeah, I don't know why he's not just going straight back into his main. I guess he was just kind of taking his time, but really that would cinch the game right here. There's the economic damage I wanted to see. I love Muta Micro. It's one of my favorite things on Earth to do, is just to roam around and kill things with mutas. It's really fun, but you can tell he's got just way more critical mass than he needs. He can just damage everything at this point, and that is a good game from HybridFrog.